myself, I filled it in. No time for the doubt, they counted me out, I'm getting it in, yeah. No time for no loss, I'm paying the cost, I'm in it to win, yeah. Refuse, mine it can't be diffused. If you ain't thinking the same, then we playing by different rules. You can't see the vision, we living at different views. Until we complete the mission, keep getting up, never snooze. I walked a mile in my shoes, had the mind of a fool, chasing diamonds and jewels. Trust me, I was confused. Started minding my business and used my mind as a tool. Ended up finding my purpose and found the time to get to it. They told me I couldn't do it, they told me I couldn't make it. They sold it, could never break it. That's sadly mistaken. I need a piece of the pie, I want it so bad I can taste it. They told me, keep on running toes, they gon' take them. Refuse to lose, built to win. Apply myself, I filled it in. No time for the doubt, they counted me out, I'm getting it in, yeah. No time for no loss, I pay for the cost, I'm winning to win, yeah. Refuse to lose, I'm built to win. Apply myself, I filled it in. No time for the doubt, they counted me out, I'm getting it in, yeah. No time for no loss, I'm paying the cost, I'm in it to win, yeah. Refuse.
Welcome back to CTC. I'm your gracious host, Carl, and I'm back with another episode. This week, we're here to preview week 3. Now, before I do that, I'd like to ask that you like, comment, share, subscribe. It helps the channel, it helps the network, it helps my channel, CTC, by way of the Refuse to Lose Network. Now, like I said, this is a network, so we also have multiple shows. We have the main show featuring Joe, Tomo, and Dave every Tuesday and Friday, 7 o'clock to about 8:30ish. Like I said, every Tuesday and Friday. Shout out to Joe, man. Got a game tonight. Commanders Packers at about 8:15, 8:30. So make sure, we all going to tune into that. Next, we have Unfazed every Tuesday, 9 o'clock Eastern, 8 o'clock Central, featuring Joe and AJ. Make sure y'all tune into them. They got their pick'ems going. They keep track of their record. I think this year they're doing against the spread bets, or not bets, but picks. So make sure y'all tune into that as well. Next, we have BWT, man, Baseball with Teddy. Make sure y'all tune in. Teddy drops not live episodes, so his episodes just drop. So make sure y'all check in for those. We have FFC Fantasy Football with Coach Coombs, who went live earlier this morning. So all you fantasy football players, any gems, any waiver wire pickups, stuff like that, make sure y'all holler at Coach Coombs. Next, we have Real Ballers Only, NBA show featuring Vaughn, hosted by Vaughn. So make sure y'all tune into that whenever he goes live. Pretty sure he's going to be going live soon within the next couple of weeks. We have Dave's Doghouse, highlights and lowlights of sport. So make sure when he drops another episode, you tune into that. We have the Joe Jordan Show making a reappearance. Those are not scheduled either, so just be on the lookout for them. And last but certainly not least, we have In the Red Corner featuring Ty, Ricky, and Tomo. Boxing episodes. They drop normally every other Sunday at around 7, so make sure y'all tune into that for that. And please like, comment, share, subscribe to all the shows on the network as well. If you like what you're listening to, stick with us. Now, shout out my brother. He said, CTC, let's go with the football emoji. Yes, sir. College football is back tonight, 7:30, NC State, Wake Forest. Now, I will not be talking about that game tonight. I'm just saying we back. I will be talking about one game on Friday. I was going to do 2. I kind of wanted to, but not really. I'm going to just stick to one, and that's Colorado at Houston. Colorado plays at Houston tomorrow night at 7 o'clock on ESPN. Houston comes into this one as 3.5-point favorites. The line dropped tremendously. I believe at one point Houston were like 5.5 or 6.5-point favorites, so that's a 3-point swing, which is a ton. Now we do get some news that Colorado will not be starting Caden Salter. They will be starting Ryan Stahl. So now with Colorado, new quarterback, freshman, you want to establish the run. You want to establish some type of run game, open up the passing game for him. So you want to do that. You want to get Ryan Stahl some easy and rhythm throws. Let's get him going. He might be, his first start, he might be a little jittery. Let's settle him down. Let's get him some easy throws. Force turnovers. You want to force some turnovers if you're Colorado. Get the ball back. You're on the road. You just take some momentum of the whole crowd away from them. You want to pressure Connor Wegman, pressure him. He's a guy that can use his legs, but if you put him under pressure, in my opinion, he will make some errant throws, maybe forcing some of those said turnovers. And keep the game close. You want to keep the game close if you're Colorado. Find a way to win it in the end. They kept the game close with Georgia Tech. Drove down the field a little bit, but could not find a way to tie a late game. I think against an opponent like Houston, if you find yourself in a close game, they can find a way to pull it out in the end. Now, if you're Houston, you want to establish Dean Connors. Man. He's a running back who's tremendous. Came over from the University of Rice, had a good career there. Looking to finish his career on a strong note at Houston. You want to protect the football if you're Connor Wegman. Again, you just want to protect the football. Don't give Colorado any extra ways to sway momentum. Pressure Ryan Staub. Let's see what he does under pressure. Score early. In my opinion, you want to score early. Just get the home crowd extra involved. Maybe make them nerves a little bit more for Staub. And last but not least, get the ball to Tanner Koziel, your leading receiver at tight end. He's a security blanket for a guy like Connor Wegman. So you want to get him the ball. But my winner, going with the road upset. Going with Colorado. I think this Colorado team is really good. I do like the coaching staff at Houston with Willie Fritz. I do like Willie Fritz. If you've been watching the show, that was one of the guys I wanted MSU to grab. So I do like him, and I do like the fact that they have Connor Wegman and Dean Connors. But I think Deion's a tremendous coach as well. And Deion is normally in games a ton. And this is Houston's first real test all season, playing Stephen F. Austin and Rice aren't true tests, while Colorado, they didn't pass the test per se as in winning against Georgia Tech, but they played a pretty good game, and they were able to force 3 turnovers on Georgia Tech's first 3 drives. So give me Colorado in this one. They're more battle-tested. I'm going with the road upset. Next, we're going to do poll talk at the end as well. But next, we have Clemson at Georgia Tech. Clemson comes into this game as 3.5-point favorites. 12 o'clock on ESPN. This is the start of the Saturday games, as you will see on the ticker. The rest of the games will say Saturday. Now, Clemson, they got to start better. Slow start against LSU. Super slow start against Troy. Lost the LSU game. Could have lost the Troy game. Found a way to win it by 11 points. But they got to start better than what they've been starting. Next, will Antonio Williams be back? Antonio Williams been out, hamstring injury. No clear indication whether he'll be back or not. And I can't, if I was off, if I ain't have a job, I could wait till Saturday to let y'all know. But that's not how my life is right now. I got to do the preview today. And as of now, we don't know what his update is. I think right now he's day-to-day. So will Antonio Williams be back? He's day-to-day right now. Someone has to step up at running back. Now, going into the offseason, I figured running back may be a point of issue for this Clemson team. But I also thought like Clemson normally always got a back. They always had one. Travis Etienne, Will Shipley, Phil Maffa, they always got a back. So I just figured they may have one in the cut that, is ready to pop out now that Phil Maffa left. But right now, running the ball is an issue for the Clemson Tigers. So someone has to step up and snatch that running back spot. You want to stop the run going against Georgia Tech. Why? That is what their bread and butter is. Whether it's Haynes King, who's also on injury, but they say he looks to be good to play this weekend. Did not play last week against, I want to say Sanford. Or Jamal Haynes running the ball. Like, Georgia Tech is predicated on the run. So you got to stop the run if you're Clemson. And you got to force some turnovers. That's what kept Colorado in the game. That's what got Colorado the early lead against Georgia Tech. So if Clemson can start fast and force turnovers, might be a long day for Georgia Tech. Now, if you're Georgia Tech, obviously you got to run the ball. You got to run Haynes King if he plays. Now, whether Haynes King plays or not is one thing. Whether he be himself is another thing. But if he is himself and ready to go, you got to run Haynes King. He was the savior in the Colorado game, so you got to run him. He adds that extra dimension to your offense. Pressure Cade Klubnik. That has been an issue for Clemson. Protecting Cade Klubnik. That's been some of the issue. So you want to put pressure on him. Maybe he, throws some errant throws, gets you, some incomplete passes, maybe even a pick or so. You want to put pressure on him. You want to run Jamal Haynes. Get Eric Rivers the ball. He's a big-time transfer from FIU. You want to get him the ball, and you got to start fast. Start fast and make Clemson start fast with you, especially at home. Get the home crowd involved. You start fast. Let's see if Clemson can do it. It's been an Achilles heel of theirs the first 2 weeks. Granted, it's just the first 2 weeks for them. This is week 3, technically week 4 if you count week 0. But they've been starting off slow. But my winner, I'm going Clemson. And it's mainly because I picked them in the preseason, 1. 2, they can't afford to lose 2 big games. And I think Dabo Swinney will have his team well aware that they cannot afford to lose this game. They lost the LSU game. You don't want to start off an ACC play as 0-1 against a really good Georgia Tech team, in my opinion. So although I am high on this Georgia Tech team, I do think this is a close game. I do think this is a winnable game for Georgia Tech. I think Clemson actually starts out fast this week, and we actually see some semblance of a Clemson football team. So I'm going to roll with Clemson in this one on the road to take the win. Next, we have a big time early SEC matchup. We got 6th ranked Georgia at 15th ranked Tennessee. 3:30 on ABC. Now, Georgia comes into this one as 4.5-point road favorites. Going against a Tennessee team who's not really battle-tested yet. But Georgia, they got to establish Nate Frazier early. And early and often. Try to, wear down this Tennessee defense. Pressure Joey Aguilar. Now, Joey Aguilar been looking real good, but competition level hasn't been the best. Yeah, Tennessee's put up 70 straight points. Do I think Tennessee put up 70 points against Georgia? Absolutely not. Nobody does. But let's see if that offense is really what it is. Stop Star Thomas, the running back, looking to you probably start his own name at Tennessee, but he's replacing Dylan Sampson, so people are going to look at it like that. Get Oscar Delp and Zachariah Branch the ball, especially Zachariah Branch in open space. You want to get him the ball, let him make them guys miss, and turn on that blazing speed to the end zone. And let's see if this Tennessee offense is really high powered. Like I said, scoring 70 points. Let's see, like I said, not 70, but let's see if they can put up 30. Let's see if they can put up some high numbers against a really good Georgia team. Now, I'm not saying that Georgia is super battle-tested because they are not. The best team I think they have played is Marshall so far, if I believe so. So they are not super battle-tested either. But Tennessee, is it really real? The offense, like I said, man, is that offense really real? We've yet to see. Establish Star Thomas. Get Chris Brazil the ball. Chris Brazil is a receiver from Tulane. Like I said, I was really high on last season. Didn't really get too much production this year, but they're starting to use him more this year. So I'm excited to see what he does, but you got to get him the ball. Let's see. 4 third and longs. Let's see if Gunnar Stockton can convert third and longs at a high rate, and Georgia as well. Let's see if Gunnar Stockton and Georgia could convert third and longs at a high rate and stop the run. Now you got to stop the run because I think this year is going to be the bread and butter for Georgia, running the football. But with that being said, my winner this week, going Georgia. Why? I don't know what Joey Aguilar really looks like in the SEC setting. I know, again, newcomer of the year, 2023 in the Sun Belt. I actually do think Joey Aguilar is pretty good of a quarterback at the collegiate level. But this is different football, and I'm interested to see how he plays against the SEC defense, how well he reads the defense against the SEC defense. Can he handle the speed? Can he, pick up blitzes? I'm excited to see all that. Picking up third and longs, especially against the Georgia defense. This is a really strong first test for Joey Aguilar. So I'm going to roll with Georgia in this one. Even though they're at Rocky Top, give me Georgia to win this game. Next, we got the backyard brawl. Pittsburgh at West Virginia. Pittsburgh comes into this one 7.5-point favorites. 3:30 on ESPN Saturday. So first, for Pittsburgh, Eli Holstein has to protect the football. That is an issue at times for him. Games where they lose, you can normally point out the fact that Eli Holstein did not protect the ball. Keep West Virginia offense behind schedule. That was big for Ohio last week in the upset win at home. Just, keeping West Virginia on 2nd and 8, 3rd and 7, stuff like that. Plus, they're going to play tempo. West Virginia offense is going to be a tempo. The more you keep them off schedule, get them off the field, the more possessions you create for your offense to go score. So you want to do that. Establish Desmond Reed, your playmaker. Whether it's on the ground or through the air, Desmond Reed makes plays anywhere on the field. Get Raphael Williams the ball. He's looking to step up for Kanata Mumfield, who has graduated. His left. He's actually, I believe, still on the Rams, if I'm not mistaken. So you want to get him the ball and pressure Nico Merchol. Nico is going to be without Jaheim White, who's out for the rest of the year. Got hurt in the Ohio game. So let's put pressure on him and see what he can do, man. Next, for West Virginia, same thing. Pressure Eli Holstein. Make him try to turn that ball over. Someone has to step up at running back. Like I said, Jaheim White is now gone for the rest of the year. They don't have C.J. Donaldson. He's transferred to Ohio State. So somebody else got to step up at running back. Get Cam Vaughn the ball. He is your deep threat guy, your speedster. You got to get him the ball. Give him his shots. Let him try to go make a play. Stay ahead of the chains. Like I said, that is what Rich Rod offenses want to do. Stay ahead of the schedule. And last but not least, be aware of Desmond Reed at all times because you have to figure out where he is. Like I said, he is their playmaker. He is the engine that gets that offense going. If Desmond Reed has a big game, as he's having a huge game, it is normally curtains. So you got to figure out where Desmond Reed is at all times. But my winner in this one, I'm going Pitt. I picked to win the battle of the backyard brawl at the preseason. The Jaheim White injury is huge to me. Eli Holstein stepping up, or Eli Holstein being a good quarterback, it's also huge to me. So I'm going to roll with Pitt. Now, I will say this. Please, this is the third year of CTC. I am predicting the backyard brawl. I am 0 for 2. Please, Pitt, make me get on the win column in this rivalry. Please. Next, we're going to go to a ranked matchup game. Now, going into the season, I did not think this would be a battle of two ranked teams, but here we are. We have 18th ranked South Florida at 5th ranked Miami University. 4:30 CW Network. Miami comes into this game as 17.5-point favorites. South Florida comes into this game upsetting Florida on the road. Now, I called the one against Boise State. I didn't think this one would happen last week, but I mean, I did tell y'all to look out for the school. This was my top 10 top teams to look out for in the group of 5. This was one of them. So there we go. But we'll start with South Florida. They got to pressure Carson Beck. Carson Beck, he's not. I'm not going to say he's a statue. He's not. But he's not the mobilist quarterback, I could say. Like, you can put pressure on him, and you're not super scared of his legs. Like, he can run. I don't think he's, like, the mobilist quarterback. So, you want to put pressure on him. Make this a low-scoring game. That's what allowed them to stay in the game and beat Florida. They made it a low-scoring game, 6 field goals for Baby Grammatica, and he got the dub. So you want to make this a low-scoring game, especially against this Miami offense who can heat up at any moment. You want to force some turnovers. That's been the key to South Florida winning. They had a turnover last week. They had 3 in the first week. Again, I told y'all this defense the past 2 years to start the year has been opportunistic. So you want to force turnovers if you're South Florida. You got to establish the run if you're South Florida, especially at the running back position. And Byron Brown has to break the game open, whether it's with his arm or with his leg. Byron Brown has to be big in this game. Now, if you're Miami, you got to score, and score some more because that's what hurt Florida. Only put up 15 points all game. 16 points all game, That's not enough. That's not enough for Miami. I know they played Notre Dame. They put up 27. You want to make this a game where USF has to match you offensively. Contain Byron Brown. You got to contain him. That boy can definitely, like I said, he could game break. Establish Mark Fletcher on the ground. Get Malachi Tony the ball and force 3rd and longs. Now that kind of takes away the added dimension. It makes yourself one-dimensional on 3rd downs, which is not where Alex Goulash and the Bulls want to be. But my winner in this one, I'm going with Miami at home. I know, I get it. You might be saying, well, South Florida just won on the road. I think Miami offense is going to be an issue for the South Florida defense. I think Carson Beck may have a day on this one. He might throw a pick, but I think he has a day. And I think this Miami team is going to sell out to stop the run. I think they will be successful. They did a really good job against Notre Dame stopping the run. Now, Bethune-Cookman. Throw that game out. But against Notre Dame, they did a really good job against the run. I think it was Jeremiah Love broke like one run basically all game. Now, I think they do a great job against South Florida for running the ball. Make them one-dimensional, and they'll win the game. So give me Miami to beat South Florida. Got a comment here. Yeah, hey, that backyard brawl killing me, man. Next, we got Arkansas at Ole Miss. Oh, I thought I didn't click it. Arkansas at Ole Miss. Now, this is another line that's dropped. Arkansas at first was 9.5-point dogs. They're now 6.5-point dogs. Ole Miss, I don't want to say escape because once the 2 interceptions early happened, they kind of dominated once they took the lead. But we'll just say escape for lack of a better term. Ole Miss is coming to this one looking to play better after the Kentucky game, the 17th in the country. This game is 7 o'clock on ESPN. The rest of the games, man, Saturday night is going to be a fun night of college football. But we'll start with Arkansas. Run Taylor Green. That boy's an athlete. Long strides, fast, man. Run him at quarterback. Pressure Austin Simmons. Austin Simmons was what now? 3 touchdowns, 4 interceptions on the year so far. Put pressure on him. He's been known to throw some picks now of late. I know it's early, but he is more picks than picks than touchdowns. Establish Mike Washington Jr., the running back from the Buffalo Bulls, the transfer. Stop Kawan Lacey. Kawan Lacey is going on a tear so far this year for the Ole Miss Rebels. And force turnovers if you're Arkansas. Kentucky did a good job at it. They was up 10-0. Just didn't consistently keep up with it, which is hard to force turnovers at a consistent rate against a good offense. And they couldn't. The difference between Kentucky and Arkansas is Arkansas has a high-powered offense with Taylor Green. Kentucky does not. So if Arkansas is forced to 2 turnovers to get out early, Ole Miss is in serious trouble. Now, if you're Ole Miss, run Kawan Lacey. Run Kawan Lacey. Like I said, he's been on a tear. Don't let Taylor Green run wild. If he's out there running wild, ooh, your defense is in trouble. Austin Simmons has to stop throwing interceptions. Like I said, 4 picks, 3 touchdowns. Got to stop the interceptions. Start fast. Did not start fast. You don't want to be in a hole against an offense as good as Arkansas. And get Trey Wallace the ball. Trey Wallace has absolutely been starring for the Ole Miss Running Rebels. So you got to get him the ball. But my winner this week, I'm going to go Ole Miss to win. But I would suggest taking Arkansas on the points in this one, to be honest. Because I could definitely see Arkansas winning this game. My thing with Arkansas is, can Arkansas get the stops necessary to beat Ole Miss, especially on the road? Now, at home, I might go Arkansas in the upset. But on the road, can they get the stops to win this game? I think it's a close game. I think it's a shootout, but I think Ole Miss narrowly escapes at the end of the game. So give me Ole Miss to win it. Next, we have Florida at LSU. Now, LSU comes into this one at 7.5-point favorites at home. Death Valley looking for revenge after last year. 7:30 on ABC Saturday night. Florida coming off a tough loss to South Florida, looking to bounce back and get back in the win column. So for Florida, they got to pressure Garrett Nussmeier. Now, Garrett Nussmeier, it's a guy that is sneaky athletic. Like, he doesn't want to run. He prefers to be a pocket passer. But he can make a move or two if he has to. Don't let these LSU receivers get in open space. Boy, if you let Aaron Anderson, Barian Brown, Thomas, I think Xavier Thomas, if you let these guys all get in open space, they burners. Like I said, LSU has a track team at the receiver corps. So you don't want them to get in open space because, man, it's tough to catch them. Contain Caden Dorm, the running back. Establish Jordan Ball. And DJ Lagway, it looks like he's going to have to ball out. He's going to have to make play after play to stay in this game. He's going to have to match Garrett Nussmeier in this receiving corps. Now, if you're LSU, you want to pressure DJ Lagway. You want to take him out the game. You want to contain his legs. You want to run Caden Durham. You want him, hey, man, make Garrett Nussmeier's job easy. Get Barian Brown and Aaron Anderson the ball. Score early. Get the crowd involved. Make Florida have to match you. And don't be afraid to run Garrett Nussmeier. Well, I'm gonna say, let me say it different in a different tone, because the way I just said it is not the way I meant for it to say. Don't be afraid, if you're Garrett Nussmeier, to break the pocket and scramble. I know you want to be a pocket guy, but if the play is there, you got to take it. But my winner in this one is LSU. I think LSU gets the revenge. I think LSU, they remember last year, Florida coming off a tough loss. LSU, I don't want to say it's hitting a stride, because the Clemson game as of now doesn't look as impressive, not for LSU, but for Clemson, of the reasons of Clemson. But I think LSU wants to make a statement. I do. And to start SEC play with a big one against Florida would be a huge statement sent to the country. I think Clemson game would have been a statement, as if it wasn't for how bad Clemson played against Troy. But Florida, I think this Florida game would be a huge statement for the SEC win. So give me LSU to win this game. We got another battle of 2 ranked teams. Saturday night, we have Texas A&M, 16th in the country, at 8th ranked Notre Dame. 7:30 on NBC. Now, if you're Texas A&M, Marcel Reed has to use his legs. You got to create plays that's not there against a tough Notre Dame defense. You got to establish the run with the trio of backs you have, led by, I believe, Amari Daniels, Ruben Owens, and Le'Veon Moss. So you got to establish those 3 guys, establish the run. Pressure CJ Carr, stop the run, Notre Dame's run with Jeremiah Love and Jadarian Price, and get Kevin Concepcion on the ball, man. Again, man, he was NC State's best player. Love to have him at Texas A&M. Got to give him the rock. Now, if you're Notre Dame, you got to contain Marcel Reed's legs, man. Make him a passer. Y'all know, well, I'm not the biggest Marcel Reed fan throwing the football. And if you make him to a passer, I think that's a win for the Notre Dame defense. Establish Jeremiah Love and Jadarian Price. Make this a low-scoring game. That was the key to winning last year. They made it a low-scoring game. Came out with the dub. Jeremiah Love, I think, broke some big runs. Make this a low-scoring game. Get Jordan Faison on the ball. He was big against Miami. Miami had a tough time tackling him. And stop the run. Like I said, Texas A&M wants to establish the run with those 3 backs and Marcel Reed. You got to stop the run. But my winner in this one is Notre Dame. I think Notre Dame wins the home-and-home series. Why? They play really good defensively. I think they'll game plan against Marcel Reed very well, forcing him to throw the ball, may even get some turnovers out of the situation. And I think Jordan Faison is going to be really big for Notre Dame. So I'm going to roll with Notre Dame in this one at home. And we move on to my South Carolina boys. Vanderbilt at 11th ranked South Carolina. South Carolina, this is another line that moved. I think South Carolina at one point was 7.5 point favorites, now down to 3.5 point favorites at the time of recording. They play 7:45 on the SEC Network Saturday night. Now, Vandy, we all know it starts and ends with Diego Pavia. Got to run him. Get the ball to Eli Stowers. That's the guy he's most got the most camaraderie, the most chemistry with. Got to get Eli Stowers the ball. Stop Lenore Sellers' legs because against Virginia Tech, really, Lenore Sellers was killer on the ground. Like, the passing game was cool, but Lenore Sellers adding that extra dimension on the legs was what took South Carolina over the top. Forced turnovers, and I'm going to add another one. Punt away from Vakari Swain. Vakari Swain broke the game open against Virginia Tech with a punt return. Had another punt return against South Carolina State. You don't want to punt to this man. Punt away from Vakari Swain if you're Vanderbilt. Now, South Carolina, run Lenore Sellers. You got to use his legs, like I said. Get Nick Harbor the football. Again, can this be the breakout year that we've all been waiting for Nick Harbor? Next, stop Pavia. Like I said, it all starts and ends with Diego Pavia. You got to take away his blanket and Eli Stowers. And last, you got to establish the run with Rasul Faison and Oscar Adaway. So you want to be able to establish them as well. But my winner in this one, we at Williams-Brice Stadium. I'm taking South Carolina to win this game. I think it's going to be a hard-fought, tough-nosed game. But I think Lenore Sellers just makes the plays, the winning plays to win this game. I think the defense does a great job. I mean, it's going to be tough to stop them. But they do a good job in containing Pavia. But we see it in practice all the time with Sellers. So give me South Carolina to win this ball game at home. And we move on to Duke at Tulane. This game right here, tough for me to pick. I still don't know if I like my pick in this game. That's how tough it was for me to pick it. But we start with Duke, man. Well, first of all, Tulane's coming into this game as a 1.5 favorite at home. This game is 8 o'clock on ESPN2 Saturday night. But Duke, tough blowout loss to Illinois. Did not take care of the football. They did not start fast like Elon. Got to start fast. That is the number one point of emphasis, for Duke. You have to start fast. Whether that's 3-7, just see something. Start fast. Protect the football. Like I said, turnovers galore against Illinois. Have to protect the football. Force your own turnovers. This team is a defensive-led team. While protecting the football, you got to force them. Contain Jake Reslav's legs, a guy who's leading them in passing and in rushing. You got to contain his legs and get off the field on third downs, which I think this Duke defense would do a good job of doing. Now, if you're Tulane, pressure Darian Mensah. Darian Mensah coming back home to where he, earned his stripes, won the job over Todd Thompson. But you got to put pressure on. Force turnovers if you're Tulane because they were there against Illinois. For Illinois against Duke. Tulane did it against Northwestern. Can they do it against Duke? Establish the run outside. Well, you got to establish Jake Reslav's legs too. That's another point. But outside of Reslav, can these guys establish the run? And which receiver steps up for Tulane? Can a receiver step up and win on third downs against this tough Duke defense? Can they make plays, make a contested catch for a touchdown? Something. A receiver has to step up. They cannot be so predicated on the run. But the reason why I'm going with Duke in this game as a technical upset is because of the defense. I think Duke's defense does a great job of just tapering, the Tulane offense. They force Tulane to win on the outside. I think Duke does a great job of winning on the outside defensively, stopping the run, and forcing a lot of stops, punts, maybe even a turnover too. While Duke with Darian Mensah with the added motivation of coming back home gets it done offensively just enough to beat Tulane. So I'm rolling with Tulane in this one. Duke in this one. Sorry, I'm rolling with Duke in this one. Next, we have Minnesota at Cal. Cal's freshman quarterback. Again, sorry if I butcher this. Jaron Kiwe Sagaputele. He's taking the world by storm. Honestly, I thought Cal would be favored because of that at home against a Minnesota team. I thought, with the freshman sensation, I thought they would be favored, but Minnesota's actually 2.5-point road favorites. This game is 10:30 on ESPN Saturday night. Now, Minnesota, you know their bread and butter. Defense, Darius Taylor, established Darius Taylor, who's now a junior, who could possibly be leaving to the league next season. Pressure Jaron Q-Way and Sagaputele. Make this a low-scoring game. That's what Minnesota do. Play some defense. Get off the field on third downs, because Cal against Oregon State at least did a really good job converting on third downs. And give the ball to Javon Tracy, your coveted transfer from Miami of Ohio. So you want to get him the rock. Cal, protect Jaron Q-Way, Sagaputele. Let him make them incredible throws. Maybe he makes a play here and there with his legs. Just, protect him. Get Tron Grizzle and Jacob DeJesus the ball. Y'all know how I feel about Jacob DeJesus. You get him the ball, he's a playmaker. He'll make plays in open space. Stop Darius Taylor. That should be number one really on the list, to be honest. Start fast. And what I mean by that is score a touchdown fast. Make Minnesota have to score with you, because Minnesota is the team that wants to just smother you defensively, make it a low-scoring game. And establish Kendrick Raphael, the running back for Cal. But my winner in this one, Minnesota. Why? Defense. I think this defense will do a really good job on Jaron. I think that they'll get some stops on third downs. He'll make some plays. He'll make some throws. He'll move the chains here and there. But this Minnesota defense is stout. And I think the Cal defense will kind of get exposed a little bit in the run game here and there. I'm interested to see what Drake Lindsey does against this Cal defense. But I'm really high on this Minnesota defense in this Cal game. Not to say I'm not high on Cal's defense, because Cal has a pretty good defense as well. But I'm just super high on Minnesota defenses with PJ Fleck and the defensive coordinators he keeps ushering in and out. But give me Minnesota in this one to win. And the last game I'm going to talk to y'all about before we talk about these polls is Texas State at now unranked Arizona State. 10:30 on TNT. Texas State 2-0. Arizona State 1-1, coming off a loss to Mississippi State. Texas State winning the battle against UT. I think it's the battle of I-395 or I-305. Yeah, the battle of I-305 or something like that. Against UTSA for the first time on the road in the Alamo Dome. Like I said, GJ Kine is building a fantastic program at Texas State. So I just thought this was a really good game to talk about. Texas State, you got to get the ball to Bo Sparks and Chris Dawn, especially after watching Brennan Thompson destroy them over the top deep for Mississippi State. You would especially want to get Chris Dawn and them the ball. Contain Sam Levitt's legs. Contain his legs on the ground if you're if you're Texas State going against Arizona State. Find Jordan Tyson at all times. He is the key of the receiving core to key into. So make sure that you find what Jordan Tyson is at all times. Run Lincoln Perry, man. Lincoln Perry had a really good game against UTSA last week. He's having a really good season, really good start to the season so far for Texas State. And the last thing you want to do if you're Texas State, man, Brad Jackson. Like I said, didn't know he was a redshirt freshman to start the year. Became a fan watching that UTSA game. He's a tough runner at quarterback. He's speedy. He makes the right plays. You want to use your legs. And he's, like I said, he's tough. He's not going down off the first hit. So if you're Brad Jackson, you want to use your legs for Texas State. Now, if you're Arizona State, first of all, the first person that hit Brad Jackson better bring him down. But you want to contain his legs. Get the ball to Jordan Tyson. Like I said, man, he's a huge playmaker for that team. If he gets going, more than likely that offense is going. Have to play two halves of football. Now, second half last week against Mississippi State, really good football. Didn't give up a point until the busted coverage at the end of the game. Scored, actually took the lead 20-17. That goal line stop by Mississippi State ended up being huge. If they could have scored on the goal line, that would have been for overtime. Maybe maybe Mississippi State goes for two. Maybe they don't. But great second half. First half, abysmal. The only reason why Arizona State got 3 points in the first half was because of a boneheaded roughing the passer that led for Arizona State in the untimed down, which was in field goal range, scoring their only points in the first half. Got to play two halves of football. Protect against the deep ball. Like I said, Brennan Thompson last week destroyed them. They have guys like Bo Sparks and Chris Dawn on the other end for Texas State that can get down the field and attack downfield. They can be deep threats. So you got to protect against the deep ball, and you got to stop the run because Lincoln Perry and Brad Jackson, they get the run game going for Texas State. It opens up so much for Texas State. Now, I do have Arizona State winning this game, but I will say that this is a huge point spread, and I do think Texas State covers the point spread. I don't know if the odds makers really are taking account for what GJ Kine got going on for Texas State. So I'm going to roll with Arizona State winning this at home, but I'm definitely taking the points with Texas State on this one. We're going to talk about these polls real quick, and I'm going to sign off. You know what I'm saying? Get ready for this NC State Wake Forest game and Thursday Night Football. So let's bring up these polls, these top 25 polls. Now, I looked over them already, and I'm not going to lie. This might be for the first time. One of the few times I really don't have a problem with the polls. Normally, I could find like something I dislike or who I would take out and who I would put in. I'm not really that mad at the polls this week. So at number 1, we have Ohio State. At number 2, we have Penn State. At number 3, we have LSU. At 4, we have Oregon. 5, we have Miami. 6, we have Georgia. 7, we have Texas. 8, we have Notre Dame. Now, I'll talk about that in a second. 9, we have Illinois. 10, we have Florida State. 11, we have South Carolina. 12, we have Clemson. 13, we have Oklahoma. 14, we have Iowa State. 15, we have Tennessee. 16, we have Texas A&M. 17, we have Ole Miss. 18, we have South Florida. 19, we have Alabama. 20, we have Utah. 21, we have Texas Tech. 22, we have Indiana. 23, we have Michigan. 24 at Auburn. And 25, we have Mizzou. Now, we do have 3 teams that dropped out the rankings. 1 is Florida. 2 is Arizona State. And 3 is SMU. Now, I'll say this. I saw people complain that Notre Dame is 0-1, but still top 10. They didn't play week 2. They didn't play week 0. They played literally week 1, and they played a top 10 opponent on the road, lost by 3. It is what it is. I'm not mad at them being top 10. They dropped 2 spots because of it. Not mad at it. I still want to see TCU in the top 25. I really do. But I'm not. Did they play? I don't think they played last week. And if they did, I don't think they played anybody like worth mentioning. So that was the thing there. USF jumping into the top 25. I honestly didn't even think that would happen. So I'm happy it happened because, like I said, I remember in college basketball when USF went on a 13-14 game win streak and they didn't get in the top 25 until their last game of the win streak. And as soon as they lost one, they got kicked right back out. So I'm not mad to see them that high. I'm happy for it. I mean, do I think they're the 18th best team in the country? No. But am I happy they getting a little respect for winning 2 back-to-back ranked games? Yes. Next. Utah 20, I'm fine with. UCLA did lose to UNLV on the road. And I don't even remember who they played, but I don't think it was nobody crazy this week. But Utah, man, again, you're talking about a team that's really good defensively, putting up 40 points. That is scary. So I'm not mad at Utah being ranked at all. Let's see. I'm not mad at Florida State jumping South Carolina. Now, as a South Carolina fan, we did start off slow against South Carolina State. Florida State has a super ranked win against Alabama. We don't have a ranked win yet. So I'm not mad at them jumping us. I'm really not. I'm not mad at Clemson dropping. They probably now, honestly, Oklahoma should be ahead of Clemson. I mean, there goes a complaint from me. Oklahoma beats a Michigan team that's still ranked, dominated them. Clemson barely escapes Troy. Oklahoma should be in front of them. I think Iowa State should be in front of them. I think Clemson should drop down all the way to maybe in front of Tennessee at 14. If you want to put Tennessee in front of them, cool. Tennessee, like I said, ain't been ranked, battle tested yet. So I'm not mad if you put Clemson in front of Tennessee because they did lose to 3rd-ranked LSU. But I do think that Clemson should have dropped more. Maybe I think Oklahoma and Iowa State for sure should be in front of them. Anything after that is fair game. And that's really it for real. I mean, yeah, that's really it. I don't really have any complaints. Arizona State dropping, I'm not mad at because a lot of people coming into this year did not think Mississippi State would be good at all. Now, is that an indication that Mississippi State is good? We'll see. I think they played them really well, but I do think the second half, Arizona State woke up. It's just a busted coverage cost them the game, but that's what happens when you let teams hang around and you play from behind. BYU not being ranked, I'm cool with. They just beat the mess out of Stanford. Nobody believes in Stanford this year. Stanford, I believe, is winless this year so far. Georgia Tech, we'll see this week. They beat Clemson. They should be ranked. If not, oh well. Florida dropping, not mad at. USC, they're on the cusp, and then TCU. So really not mad at the polls this week. Now, I'm excited for football this week, man. Like I said, we starting Thursday tonight. I should be back Sunday to go over week 3. As you can see, my pick'em record is right now 25-11. I went 11-3. week 2 with 4 upsets or underdogs taking and winning. So really excited to see what my record would be out of 12 games this week. The worst I could be is 25-23 after this week. The best I could be after this week is 37-11. But let's see how that shakes up. Thank y'all for tuning in and sticking with me so far. Please like, comment, share, and subscribe if you haven't already. We're so close to 100 subscribers, man. I really appreciate that. Last time I checked, we're at 93. Let's check right now and see where we at currently. Might still be 93. But again, man, I do appreciate the new subs. I appreciate everybody watching. We are currently at 93. So please, the goal by the end of the year for me was to be at 100. Now it looks like we may hit that goal by the end of the month, which I'd be so appreciative of. But I'm done rambling. Thank y'all for tuning in to CTC. I'm gone.
Thank you for staying to the end. If you're watching this on YouTube, please like this video, subscribe, and also hit that notification button so you can be notified next time we put out a video. If you're listening on any podcast platform, subscribe and hit that notification button, y'all, so you can be notified we put out another podcast audio. And last but not least, hit that share button. No matter what you're listening to or watching it, hit that share button and send it to somebody that you know that would love to watch this episode you just listened to. So once again, thank you for staying to the end, and we'll see y'all at the next episode.